Untold Stories of Deviance. Contents. Summary. What happens when society strips people of their culture, or when people break the law? Today we're going to dive into two different types of deviance and explore why they happened. The purpose is to explore two different forms of deviance, use sociological theories to explain why these deviant behaviors occurred, and make theories real and relevant to help understand our world. The Native American boarding schools was established through the forced removal of Native American children from their families. This was done so by the U.S. government as well as which was backed up by many churches. The goal was to force the assimilation into American culture. This occurred during the time period of 1819 to 1969, with around 408 boarding schools across 37 states. The schools are known to be responsible for roughly 500 plus deaths. However, the true number is unknown as research is ongoing. What attributed to these deaths were the brutal conditions that these poor Native American children were put through. These conditions included abuse, such as confinement, flogging, withholding food, whipping, and slapping, as forms of discipline when Native American children refused to assimilate into American culture and abandon their culture. The deviance theory that I have applied to the Native American boarding schools is functionalism. Functionalism, by Emily Durkheim, is defined as society is made up of interrelated parts that work together to maintain social stability. A sort of social cohesion is achieved by maintaining conformity to social norms. These social norms are what we adhere to on a day-to-day basis. How this applies to the boarding schools follows. The deviance of Native American culture was seen as a threat to American social unity and culture, so the U.S. took action. By creating the Native American boarding schools, they believed they could educate the Native Americans on American culture and force them to assimilate into the unity of America. When the Native American children and their families were resistant to this, they resorted to abuse and forced assimilation, which they justified as necessary for civilizing Native Americans. This social order took place, which is those in power thought they were preserving societal unity by eliminating diversity. Basically, the powers above believed they knew it was right and wrong. The second case we'll talk about, I have referred to it as the Robin Hood case. This couple found a lonely, wealthy man suffering from bipolar disorder. They took advantage of him by gaining his trust and becoming his power of attorney. They slowly poisoned him with ketamine, marijuana, and other illicit drugs, eventually leading to his death. After his death, they tried to steal the rest of his estate with $3 million they had stolen during the course of their friendship with this man. They were not successful, and eventually they were arrested on charges. Their actions, as illegal as they were, are also considered deviant. But why? Why did they steal from the wealthy individual? This ties into the legend of Robin Hood and Robin Merton's string theory. Robin Hood stole from the wealthy and gave to the poor. And much like Robin Hood, this couple also had very misguided reasons. String theory is defined as deviance happens when individuals are unable to achieve societal goals through accepted means. Simply put, society sets cultural goals like wealth and the means to achieve these goals Means can be in the form of just working hard at a job. How this applies to the theft of this man's wealth include the couple experienced some strain in their life, and the traditional means of success weren't working for them, or even weren't accessible to them, as one of the couples was an actor, and it is a very hard field. They turned to theft as their alternative method to achieve the cultural goal of wealth. This puts them in the category of innovation, one of Robert Merton's categories when describing this theory. Innovation is simply put best as when those seek to achieve the cultural goals, but they find their own alternative and create their own method and means to achieve this goal. As I have mentioned, both functionalism and string theory are vastly different theories, while both describing the same thing, deviance. Functionalism is deviance viewed as a threat to social unity and cohesion. Basically, it is a threat against social norms. This threat against social norms was what justified the abuse of the boarding schools in order to maintain the order and social cohesion of American culture. While strain theory is deviance arising from societal pressures and limited access to success. Basically, these social goals and norms that we worked so hard to achieve put untold pressures and limits on people to maintain what we strive for. This can lead to such actions of deviance. Specifically, the theft in this case led them into the category of innovation, where they strived for the cultural goals but sought alternative methods to achieve this goal. Spot the deviant. The picture on the left, if you have guessed correctly, is the deviant, while the picture on the right is not. The image on the left is deviant compared to the image on the right because it no longer fits the societal norms of wedding gowns. This wedding gown is from the Victorian era. During the Victorian era, this would have been the most fashionable excellency of society and would have been considered non-deviant. However, over time, the cultural norms have changed. Shifting to the image on the right, this image represents the modern version of what is culturally and socially acceptable as a wedding gown now. In conclusion, some key takeaways include deviance is not always about bad people, however, the actions in these cases we have talked about were done by bad people. But deviance goes further than this. Deviance is about understanding the pressures and forces that shape behavior. Much as we saw in the couple, theories like functionalism and strain theory help us to make sense of why deviant behavior happens in different contexts. Although breaking rules can often be a response to larger societal issues, breaking the rules is not always deviant. And finally, think about how these theories can apply to other situations and how does society shape behavior around us. Thank you.